Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Emil Ennis Jr. back here with Clever News, and the new era of Taylor Swift is here, and we have a lot to discuss. So as we welcome the era of Taylor Swift's re-recorded masters, we're reminiscing on our top 3 favorite emotionally vulnerable tracks over the years, better known as Tay's Track 5s, and trust me, if you know, you know. Okay, like I said, if you know, you know, but for those of you who don't know, you're about to know that deep within the Swiftie fan base lies the phenomenon of the famously devastating Track 5. It's no question that Taylor is a woman of pattern, whether it be utilizing songwriting pseudonyms, incorporating the number 13 into every update, or subtly throwing that gut-wrenching, feels-knocking ballad into the coincidental 5th slot on her track list. Let's just say Taylor's moves are like perfectly calculated wizardry. The Track 5 phenomenon began around the time of Taylor's 2012 Red album, as she acknowledged the theory during an Instagram story around the time of Lover's release, saying, quote, "I didn't realize I was doing this, but as I was making albums, I guess I was just kind of started putting a very vulnerable, personal, honest, emotional song as Track 5. She went on to explain that because fans noticed this, I kind of started to put the songs that were really honest, emotional, vulnerable, and personal as Track 5. That said, the legend of the Track 5 can be traced back all the way to the very beginning when Taylor's debut self-titled album featured Cold As You in the 5th spot, and rightfully so. Since then, we've been given 8 more Track 5s, but right now we're ranking our top 3. And guys, we know that there will be differing opinions, so please be courteous as we'd love to welcome the discussion and get to know your own reasoning. After all, Swifties unite, right? Now that we got that settled, let's get into it. Coming in at number 3 on our list is a song that dates all the way back to Taylor's 2010 Speak Now era, when Dear John literally shocked the knitted socks off of her biggest fans. Although it wasn't the first track that Taylor actually mentions a name in, the scathing song about heartbreak was especially powerful because there was only one John that Taylor was linked to around the time. She and John Mayer dated for a few short months in late 2009 and early 2010, and Dear John was conveniently released later that year in October 2010. One telltale sign that the song was about John Mayer was their 12-year age difference, in which Taylor sings, quote, "Don't you think I was too young to be messed with? The girl in the dress cried the whole way home. I should have known." She also takes multiple digs at him just before turning the song into a positive, singing, quote, "But I took your matches before fire could catch me. So don't look now, I'm shining like fireworks over your sad, empty town." 2 years later, John actually shared his thoughts on the song during an interview with Rolling Stone, saying, "It made me feel terrible because I didn't deserve it. I'm pretty good at taking accountability now, and I never did anything to deserve that. It was a really lousy thing for her to do." Needless to say, that love story came to a close real quick. At number 2 though on the list comes a newer Track 5 from Taylor's Pandemic playlist, aka Folklore and Evermore. Tolerated might be one of the most heart-shattering Track 5s in Taylor's entire catalog. Not only is it beautifully and tragically written, but we've all been that person in a relationship who loved harder than the other person. Some of the deepest lyrics read, quote, "While you were out building other worlds, where was I? Where's that man who throw blankets over my barbed wire? I made you my temple, my mural, my sky. Now I'm begging for footnotes in the story of your life." Whew. Wow. And finally, the Red era was arguably the most emotional of Taylor's work, with an entire range of emotions, but it was All Too Well that cuts deep into the soul. Quicker than you can say, casually cruel in the name of being honest. The song paints a picture from start to finish of a relationship in the form of a visually catastrophic timeline, and was one of those songs that was never a single when it absolutely should have been, in which it is heavily rumored to be about her relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal. But that wasn't even the most compelling part of the song. Taylor admitted to Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums podcast back in November that the song fans have heard doesn't include about 7 extra verses. She went on to say, "I included the F word, and I remember my sound guy was like, I burned a CD of that thing you were doing in case you want it. I was like, sure. I ended up taking it home and listening to it and was like, I actually really like this, but it's 10 minutes long. I need to pare it down." Many Swifties are now convinced that the 10-minute version of All Too Well may appear on Taylor's re-recorded Red album, so it's safe to say we're manifesting this until that day. And before we go, I wanted to give an honorable mention to one Track 5 that may have had to grow on fans, but its significance may be the strongest. The Archer, written solely by Taylor, was released back in 2019 on Taylor's Lover album, which marked her first single to take accountability for her own actions, with lyrics reading, "I've been the archer, I've been the prey, who could ever leave me, darling, and who could stay?" The song preaches growth and vulnerability, which is something Taylor may have been forced to come to terms with over the years. The Archer is also said to have a connection to the Track 5 Delicate off of Taylor's Reputation album, as one user pointed out, quote, "In the Delicate video she says, 'Dive bar on the east side, where you at?' and there's a big graffiti Track 5 behind her. The Archer is a dive bar in London and it's Track 5. The fan went on to assume that The Archer is the Delicate sequel and that we may finally find out what the note says and who was in the bar in the Delicate video. Again, I just want to say that this list does not discredit our love for White Horse, My Tears Ricochet, Delicate, All You Had to Do Is Stay, and Cold As You. The great thing about Taylor's track 5s is that there will always be more, so it might be best to mentally prepare yourselves now for the charmingly tragic soundtrack to our past that we remember all too well. But to see the latest Easter eggs in Taylor's love story announcement, you can click right over here for another Clevver News video, and then let us know which of Taylor's track 5s left you completely in shambles down in the comment section below. I'm your host, Emil Ennis Jr. You can find me on Instagram at Emil Ennis Jr. And I'll see you soon right back here on Clevver News. Bye, y'all.